Okay, on this lesson here, you will learn on the definition of electromagnet. So that is the third sections of this chapter here. If you have watched the previous videos, you would have gone through two different sections here, which is the magnetic field in a single wire, and then we have moved into magnetic field in a circular loop. And what we're going to look next here is about magnetic field in a coil of a wire. So example, let's say we have an iron core here. Let me call this as an iron core. Usually we're going to use a soft iron core. So I'm going to label first soft iron core, but I'll tell you why is it soft iron core later. And next, what we're going to do here, we're going to take a wire and coil it around this whole iron core. So exactly, we'll wound it around it, and therefore we leave it as such. Now, the moment you take an iron core and then you coil it with a wire, this whole setup, when you do so, is called as a solenoid. So remember, solenoid is a process of coiling a wire on an iron core. But what we're going to do next here is we're going to connect this two end of wires here to a dry cell. Means we want a current to flow through this wire coil. So the moment the current is connected, now the system will become like an electromagnet. So make it very clear the difference between a solenoid and an electromagnet. Solenoid is just a wire coiled around an iron core, no current flowing through the coil. But when you take the solenoid, you make a current to flow through, and therefore we call this as a process of an electromagnet. So what happens in an electromagnet? In an electromagnet, the iron core now acts as though a magnet. It acts as though a magnet. Remember, in a magnet, what we have here, we're going to have the north pole and a south pole, and they're going to be a magnetic field surrounding it. So we're going to produce a magnet field here. To explain this better, let's look at this experiment here, and I'm going to remove this wire here a bit. We're going to remove this wire. So then I'm going to have, let's say, connected to a switch. So initially the switch is off, or what we call here, the switch is not connected, it's off. No current flows through the circuit, and therefore when there's no current flows through the circuit now acts like a solenoid electromagnet. Yes, solenoid, yeah, because why? No current flowing through, the switch is off. Okay, now, but what's going to happen here, at the same time, I'm going to place a cup, and inside the cup here, I'm going to fill up with the pins. Okay, it's exactly pins all around here inside this cup here. So initially, when I bring these pins closer to the iron core, I don't see any attraction. Okay, it remains as it is inside the cup here. And what's going to happen next is, on the second section of this experiment, I'm going to connect this wire here, allowing current to flow through. Now what's going to happen? Current is flowing through the circuit. It's going to flow through from positive to negative, remember. So from positive, it flows up behind the coil, behind the iron core, and then move back front, going back behind, and therefore exactly current flows through, completing the circuit. Now, when the current flows through, remember what happens just now. I did mention, right? When a current flows through an iron core, the circuit becomes like a magnet. So if it's a magnet, what you're going to observe on these pins here, all the pins will start attracting. One by one will start sticking to this iron core. Why? Because now your iron core acts like a magnet. This process where by coiling a wire on a current carrying conductor and making it to become a magnet is what we call as an electromagnet. Clear? Now, so let's look on a proper definition of electromagnet. Electromagnet states that is a process of producing temporary magnet. Remember, it is a temporary magnet. Yeah, it is not a permanent magnet. It is produced as long as you have a current. So process of producing temporary magnet. Then how do we produce this temporary magnet? By coiling current carrying conductor across iron core. So let me repeat back again. What is electromagnet process all about? It's a process of producing temporary magnet. You must have the temporary magnet. How do we produce this temporary magnet? By coiling a current carrying. Remember, current must flow through the conductor on an iron core. Done.